Aries season is upon us. Hello, beautiful people. Life can be a challenge, but at least we have each other. Yes, the sun will be transiting through the sign of Aries from March 20th through April 19th. And during that 4-week period, there will be some intense planetary shifts, including Mercury going retrograde. So in this video, I'll be going over what these energetic shifts will mean for your individual sign. Okay, no more wasting time. Let's go. Aries season began when the sun entered Aries on March 20th at 4:06 a.m. Universal Time, which was 11:06 p.m. on March 19th Eastern Standard Time, 8:06 p.m. on March 19th Pacific Time, and for those of you that live in the Southern Hemisphere, the time was 3:06 p.m. on March 20th in Sydney, Australia, and 6:06 a.m. on March 20th in Johannesburg, South Africa. Now let's find out the best way to make the most of this Aries season energy. Aries season represents the start to the astrological year, so the actions you take and the mindset you have during Aries season will set the tone for the remainder of 2024. Aries are known for their purity of heart, their courageous perspective, and their willingness to take on a challenge. So let's celebrate all of those fiery Aries out there while making a commitment to start each day with fresh eyes, ready to seize untapped opportunities and plant the seeds of intention to bring the vision you have for yourself into reality. Happy Aries season. Now let's find out what Aries season means for your individual sign. Okay, my powerful Aries, it is finally here, the beginning of the astrological year and your season. And I want to wish all of you passionate, determined Aries out there a rebirth phase filled with creative inspiration, good fortune, abundance, laughter, adventure, new opportunities, and most of all, love. So happy birthday, Aries. And when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this is going to be in your first house. So it is go time, Aries. The last 4 weeks, more than likely, were pretty heavy for you, and anything that took place that brought on intense emotion was an experience to really help you come to the conclusion of what it is that you want in your life and what it is that you do not want. And now is the time to make the necessary changes so that way you are not taking any of that energy that you do not want with you into this next chapter. Now, the more clarity you have during this time or at this time, and the more you take action to honor what is best for you, the more the universe will reflect this energy back to you by bringing you the opportunities, the people, and the experiences to assist you in bringing the vision that you have for yourself into reality. Now, on March 22nd, Mars, your ruling planet, will be entering Pisces, which will be in your 12th house. So if you do not feel too social during this time, don't worry, Aries. This actually works really well with the idea that your season is your time. It is time for you to take time to yourself, to focus on making those changes that we were talking about and not allowing yourself to be distracted by anything that takes you off course. Now, I know it is your birthday season, so of course, having a party or celebrating however you want to celebrate is nothing negative. I'm just saying that if this 12th house Mars energy lends to you feeling less social than normal, then that's okay. And that it can actually work in your favor by keeping you on track. Then on March 25th, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, which is extremely important because it is the only penumbral eclipse taking place this year. So make sure to check out that video if you haven't already. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your first house. So Aries, this could provide a second chance for you regarding either a work opportunity or when it comes to reconnecting to an idea that you had for yourself in the past, but for whatever reason, you let it go. Now, this is also a time where you want to stay away from any drastic changes being made to your appearance. And I know it's your season, and I know it's that time for the new year, new you energy, but Mercury retrograde is more about revising things. So if there's something that you recently tried in terms of changing up your look, or your attitude even, and you find that it isn't really working for you or you don't feel right about it, Mercury retrograde will be the perfect time to make revisions here. You also might find it hard to express yourself if something comes up in terms of conflict within a relationship. So a great way to counterbalance this energy is to focus on what you would need from that person in order to feel better about the situation, as opposed to attempting to get them to completely understand where you're coming from or how you feel. But overall, Aries, just know that this Mercury Mercury retrograde actually works well for your season, because if there is anything from your past that you need to resolve, revise, or release, this Mercury retrograde will reveal it. Then on April 5th, Venus will be shifting into Aries, which will be in your first house as well, and is great news for you when it comes to the prospect of romance during your season. And I know Mercury is going to be retrograde when this shift takes place, but this does not mean that new love is something that you should avoid. It just means that if someone does come into your life, that you really should make sure and take your time when concluding if that person is right for you or not. Maybe keep the light-hearted dating phase going until the end of that retrograde phase. But just know this Venus transit has the potential to renew your energy around love, and it will boost your attractiveness, your energetic appeal, and it also increases your connection with financial flow. So this means that some money-making opportunities may come your way, Aries, which is always good news for your rebirth season. Then on April 8th, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Aries, which will also be in your first house, which marks a major acceleration for change. The solar eclipse will be a time where all of the challenges, the changes, and the realizations that you experienced during the lunar eclipse will now begin to shift into accelerated opportunities and positive momentum for you. So Aries, you have a lot of energy going on during your season. You have 2 eclipses and Mercury going retrograde. So it will be exciting to say the least, just to be prepared by having your intentions clear. Know that whatever shows up will be in your soul's best interest. That way you will be asking yourself, how can this work for me? No matter what it is that shows up. With that perspective, you will be sure to have a rebirth season that marks the start to an incredible new beginning, indicating how the rest of 2024 is going to go for you, Aries. So embrace this energetic opening. Happy birthday and happy Aries season. Okay, my powerful Taurus, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this will be in your 12th house. So Taurus, get ready for an intense ride. Expect to not be feeling too social during the 4 weeks of Aries season, and know that that's okay to be feeling that way. This is because this is a preparation phase for you before your season comes along. This is a time for physical, mental, and emotional cleansing. So whatever comes up for you during this 4-week period, just know that it is in your soul's best interest, and it actually is helping you to figure out exactly what it is that you want. So that way, when your season comes along, you can have a clear vision of what it is that you plan on bringing into your reality. And you'll have an idea about how to go about getting it all, while making sure to realize how important it is not to bring any drama from your past into your season. So use this 12th house sun energy to resolve and release anything from your past that is still lingering. On March 22nd, Mars will be entering Pisces, which is in your 11th house, which is an excellent energy to help you through this preparation phase of Aries season, Taurus, because this Mars energy in your 11th house will boost your creativity, and it will bring inspiration when it comes to what you want and how to go about bringing those dreams into reality. This will also mean that if you get the chance to work as part of a group during this time, it will be to your benefit. So take that opportunity if it comes along. It will also assist you in feeling optimistic about your future, even in the midst of any heaviness that this Aries season may bring. Now on March 25th, we have the penumbral lunar eclipse in Libra, which I have made a separate video for, so be sure to check that out. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your 12th house. So Taurus, you may feel an urge to isolate, or you may even feel a surge of loneliness during this retrograde phase, and it will be important to not allow the darkness of that feeling to overwhelm you, and instead understand that this is an opportunity to get to your inner psychology. Mercury will be working with the sun in the 12th house in the way that this retrograde phase will bring up any experiences or feelings from childhood that need to be healed, that could be at the root of any tendency that you might have to self-sabotage. So if something does come up for you during this time, Taurus, that relates to emotions that you know consistently come up for you and demotivate you or lead you to a negative outlook, this is the time to once and for all identify what those feelings are, process and release that energy. And just know that the catalyst for this could be a past relationship resurfacing that will end up helping you through this process of healing. This Mercury retrograde will be the perfect addition to the 12th house sun energy in terms of making sure that you are cleaning house spiritually. Then when it comes to love and money, Taurus, on April 5th, Venus will be shifting into Aries, which will also be in your 12th house. So be ready, Taurus, either for someone from your past that was a romantic connection to come along, or a new love connection to show up, but also be ready for this person to test whether or not you know your worth. They more than likely will be someone who is more of a taker than a giver, and if this is the case, it will be very important for you to do what you know is best for you. This also goes for those of you that are already in a relationship. If you know you do not receive in your relationship as much as you give, this Venus transit and this lunar eclipse in Libra and even the sun in Aries are all assisting you in breaking this cycle. So that way, when you step into your season, you will have a renewed sense of self, a renewed sense of what relationships mean to you, and a renewed energy around love. So make sure to step into these transits ready to be tested a bit and ready to pass those tests with flying colors, because you are ready for change, Taurus. The 12th house transit is not a huge indicator of financial gain, but it's also not an indicator of financial loss. So just plan on things going in a pretty steady direction financially, but a boost will be coming your way during your season, so be patient, Taurus. Then on April 8th, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Aries, which will also be in your 12th house, which can definitely mark a time of clarity in terms of all the lunar eclipse changes now beginning to be rewarded with not only mental certainty, but also the start of some new opportunities coming your way. Just be cautious and take your time before jumping into anything that's a bit risky, because Mercury will still be retrograde. So whatever shows up, maybe make the start of your season or after April 25th the time to dive in and really start moving forward with whatever opportunity that shows up, or any relationship that shows up. So an intense 4 weeks, Taurus, to say the least, but just know after this 4-week period, you will be ready for a major shift in positive momentum and direction when your season comes around. So embrace this energetic opening, and happy Aries season, Taurus. Okay, my powerful Geminis, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this is going to be in your 11th house. So Gemini, although this Aries season has a lot of intense energy that promises to shake things up for everyone, at least the 11th house energy indicates that your world will be shaken up in a very positive way. This will be a time where you may find yourself connecting with new friends and even spending more time with old friends and deepening those connections. Keep your awareness heightened though for someone to come along into your life that will either be a business relationship or a friendship, but understand that this person may play a major role in assisting you when it comes to bringing your dreams into reality at some point in the future. The focus for the next 4 weeks, Gemini, being that Aries is a seed planting phase and the start of the astrological year, and being that it is in your 11th house, your focus is allowing yourself to dream big, but also be specific about what it is that you genuinely want in terms of prioritizing things. Pay attention to what you have in your life in terms of friends or a significant other, or even family members that you know have a strong influence on you, and bring awareness to whether or not that influence has a positive or a negative effect in your life, and start to make adjustments in terms of how much of your energy you give those relationships. This will put you on the right track for a strong momentum moving forward in terms of bringing you fulfillment, happiness, and success. Now on March 22nd, we have Mars entering Pisces, which will be in your 10th house, which is excellent because this will not only bring physical energy and motivation to you when it comes to your career, but it will also increase the likelihood of financial gain coming your way during this time. Now Gemini, here is where things get a little tricky. We have that full moon lunar eclipse on March 25th, which relates to your destiny. So make sure that you check out that video that I have on that topic, where I go into depth for you in terms of the best way for you to make the most of that energy. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your 11th house. So Gemini, a friendship from the past may be showing up that will be renewed in some way, where they may now play a different role in your life. And this could also indicate that if there is an issue with a friend that is unresolved, that this is the time to resolve it. This also could indicate that if you had a former goal that you let go of for whatever reason, but there is still a part of you that connects to that goal, this retrograde phase could be a time where you reignite your fire for that goal and it becomes a part of your path once again. In addition to that, you could get a redo on an opportunity that relates to your overall goals. So if there was something that fell through in the past, or you received a no instead of a yes, that opportunity could show up again with a high possibility of a different outcome, which is very exciting. So this retrograde energy actually works pretty well with your chart, Gemini. Then when it comes to love and money, Venus will be shifting into Aries on April 5th, which will be in your 11th house, which indicates that if you are single and looking for love, the likelihood of you connecting romantically with someone is increased. However, it may be more of a friend's vibe first, then maybe turn into friends with benefits. So more than likely you'll be having some lighthearted fun, and if you do really start to catch some deep feelings, just make sure that you take your time before getting into a major commitment. Maybe even, if it's possible, wait until after April 25th when Mercury goes direct, so that way the energy is also supportive of it being something that could potentially be long-term. Now, if you're already in a relationship, it will be important for you and your significant other to engage in some social activities together to remind yourselves that it is very important to be friends as well as lovers. Otherwise, if there is a disconnect between the two of you, it can really increase during this time. So put in the effort to spend time together and to give energy to the relationship and to the connection, and you will for sure see the benefits. Then we have the final big transit of Aries season, which is the new moon solar eclipse in Aries on April 8th, which will also be in your 11th house. So this is where new opportunities and momentum created from the realizations and changes made during the full moon lunar eclipse energy, this momentum can really begin to manifest for you. And although Mercury will be retrograde, this will still mark a positive shift in momentum for you, Gemini. Just take your time when it comes to finalizing any big decisions, but also don't hold back on moving forward with things that you are certain about. So overall, Gemini, this is going to be an intense time, but a productive time for you when it comes to 2024, truly getting underway. As long as you do not resist change, and as long as you adapt to the circumstances that Aries season will be bringing to you with an optimistic perspective, if you do that, this can be an amazing time for you. So embrace this energetic opening, and happy Aries season, Gemini. Okay, my powerful Cancerians, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this will be in your 10th house. So Cancers, this is that time of year where you are meant to go full throttle with your career. If you make your career your priority during these 4 weeks, you will see major momentum taking place. This is a 4-week period where if you use social media for work, you can also see some major gains in terms of your following and engagement. So giving energy to that will be productive as well. Just remember, consistency is key. Now the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn. So if you think to yourself that you are going to implement some Capricorn traits that you know lead to success during this Aries season, you will be very happy that you did. And this can mark a major shift relative to you manifesting your goals into reality. Now, that being said, there are a lot of different energetic shifts to navigate during this Aries season, so let's go over what those are and the best way to make the most of the energy. On March 22nd, Mars will be entering Pisces, which will be in your 9th house, which is excellent because this will increase your motivation, it will increase your creativity, and it will also increase your belief in yourself that you are capable of bigger and better things in life, which are all key components to manifesting, Cancer. So Mars will definitely be on your side during this time. Now here is where things get a little rough. The full moon lunar eclipse is going to be in Libra on March 25th, and this eclipse will connect to your destiny. So make sure to check out the video that I have on this eclipse and how it affects your sign. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your 10th house. So Cancers, if there is some job opportunity that went away in the past that you wanted, there is a possibility that it could come back around with a different outcome. This also indicates that if there was some project that you were working on and it just lost steam for whatever reason, or you just haven't had the time to give it the energy that it deserves, this retrograde phase is the perfect time to revisit that project, because doing so could yield fantastic results. This could also indicate that you could find yourself being misunderstood either at work or by the public. So if you are giving your energy to social media during this time, be conscious of how you present yourself. The sun's energy is bringing strong momentum in terms of more eyes being on you, which is great regarding social media, but Mercury is reminding you to be conscious of what type of energy you are expressing in your posts. This could also be a time where you decide to go in a different direction when it comes to work. But see this more of a figure it out phase as opposed to a taking action phase if you do decide that you want to go in a different direction. Now, when it comes to love and money, Venus will be shifting into Aries on April 5th, which will also be in your 10th house. So if you are single and looking for love, this is not a major indicator of new love, but it is also not a negative energy when it comes to love. So connecting with someone is possible. Just know that it indicates if you do, more than likely it will be someone that is connected to your job in some way. But keep in mind though that Mercury will be retrograde, so you don't want to make any any major commitments until after Mercury goes direct if you can help it. Now, if you're already in a relationship, this indicates that if you and your significant other work on some sort of creative project together during this time, it can yield very good results. So if this is an option for you, be sure to take advantage of that. Now, overall, this Venus transit is great for money, so be ready for a positive flow in that direction. Then on April 8th, we have the final big transit of Aries season, which is when the new moon solar eclipse in Aries takes place, which will also be in your 10th house. So this marks the time when you could have a new job opportunity or an influx of financial gain. And this also marks the time where you can start to see that increase in your social media following. So make sure to be posting and putting energy into that, especially from April 8th through April 23rd. Now Mercury will be retrograde, so when new opportunities show up, just make sure to really take your time and go over all the details meticulously before finalizing any decision. So overall, Cancers, Aries season is the time for you to put your career goals first. This way you can get yourself in an excellent flow, creating a strong momentum moving forward, especially during a time where the seeds of intention that you plant will have a strong effect on how the rest of 2024 is going to play out. So embrace this energetic opening and happy Aries season, Cancers. Okay, my powerful Leos, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this is going to be in your 9th house. So Leos, you have had enough of feeling like life is a bit monotonous, and although you have still maintained a pretty positive perspective, which is great, you have been ready for change. A strong momentum of change, and now Aries season is promising to bring that change your way. So be ready for the opportunities that have been weighing in the balance to start taking shape. They are coming your way and beginning to manifest. This more than likely will involve you getting out of your usual routine, maybe even traveling a bit, learning a new skill, being challenged to show yourself what you are capable of by being asked to do a job that is in alignment with what you usually do professionally, but it may be a bit outside of your comfort zone in some way, which will positively affect you because it will bring the opportunity for you to elevate your output in terms of sharing your gifts of creativity and your gift for being able to really see a goal through to completion. So overall, this 4 weeks is going to be all about fast moving expansion, challenges and changes, but ultimately resulting in very positive forward momentum. And I say challenges because this Aries season for everyone does have some major energetic shifts. So let's go over what those are so that way you are prepared to make the most of this energy. On March 22nd, Mars will shift into Pisces, which is in your 8th house, which will increase your intuition, assisting you in decision making and following your instincts. And it will also sharpen your insight into the motivation of others, which is really going to help you when it comes to working in any sort of group scenario, Leo. So a pretty positive influence here. Just be prepared for some drama to come up with finances if there is someone that you jointly own something with. This won't necessarily be a negative thing. It will just more than likely be an annoying distraction, but the quicker you can handle it and move on, the more you will be able to shift your focus back to getting into the flow. Now, here is where some intense energy comes along. On March 25th, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, which will be connected to your destiny. So make sure and check out the video that I posted regarding that transit. This way you will know the best way to make the most of that energy. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your 9th house. So Leo, I know we always hear about Mercury retrograde and travel drama, but this being in your 9th house, you for sure need to plan ahead and prepare yourself if you do have any travel plans coming your way during this time. And you likely will, because the sun will be in your 9th house. If you do plan on traveling, just really make sure to give yourself more time than usual, prepare for delays, make sure to go over travel plans meticulously, and whatever you do, do not put yourself in a scenario where you are rushing to get somewhere. This 9th house Mercury retrograde also indicates that you might have to go back and get certified or educated in some area in order to expand your life moving forward. This will also be an opportunity to reestablish what your belief system is in terms of what it is that you want out of this chapter of life and how you genuinely see yourself in terms of, do you believe in yourself and to what extent, and just how much confidence you have in your capabilities. That way you can bring awareness to this, make adjustments, and really elevate all of that energy, bringing more success to you. Now, when it comes to love and money, during this Aries season, we have Venus shifting into Aries on April 5th, which will also be in your 9th house, which is an excellent energy for financial gain. So Aries season and this Venus transit do indicate some increase to your financial profile, Leo, which is fantastic. And when it comes to love, it does indicate a possible romantic connection with someone from a different culture or background than you. Just be sure to remember that Mercury will be retrograde, so you want to keep it pretty lighthearted until all of this energy calms down a bit, and then you can get a better perspective on the long-term potential of the connection. And if you're already in a relationship, this indicates that some changes may need to take place in your relationship in order for the two of you to deepen your connection. More time spent together, trying new things, or just having a long overdue date night, something to spice things back up, because this Venus transit will either be a time of renewed excitement regarding the relationship or a phase of further disconnect. So put in the effort for the renewed connection, and this will absolutely yield positive results. Then we have the final big transit of Aries season, which will be the new moon solar eclipse in Aries that takes place on April 8th, which will also be in your 9th house. And although Mercury will be retrograde, this will mark a major opening in new opportunities and forward momentum that is a result of the realizations and the changes that you made during the lunar eclipse energy on the 25th. So you can look at April 8th as a strong opening where the opportunities and connections really begin to manifest for you, Leo. So overall, Aries season is a very positive energy for you, where you will make some new connections, you will see an increase in your financial situation, and you will begin to feel like life is not as boring or depressing as it has been. Just make sure to do your part by adapting as these shifts take place, and keep your focus on putting your energy into the things that you know matter to you and bring you joy. So embrace this energetic opening, and happy Aries season, Leo. Okay, my powerful Virgos, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this is going to be in your 8th house. So Virgos, buckle up, because this is about to be an intense ride for the next 4 weeks. The good news is, if you use this energy for what it is intended for, you can rest assured life will be different on the other side of this Aries season, and it will be different for the better. Here is the thing, Virgo. You are amazing at so many things. That is why I love you, and we have already talked about in other videos how you can be hard on yourself and how you need to be a bit easier on yourself. However, one of the more difficult things for you to do is embrace major change. And embracing major change during this Aries season is going to be so important for you, because it's going to have such a major effect on how the rest of 2024 is going to play out for you. Now, the 8th house is all about transformation. And I know we hear that word a lot, and you may be as tired of hearing that word as I am, because it does get overused a bit. But for you in this Aries season, it really does apply. This is genuinely the time for you to use that amazing Virgo power of yours to identify what habits or what thought patterns that you have that you know do not work for you, and then make a commitment to changing them. Whatever challenges come up for you, especially during the first part of this Aries season, pay attention, because they are coming into your life to help you identify what it is that you need to adapt that is going to assist you in manifesting the life that you know you desire and you definitely deserve. So whatever comes up, do not waste a single moment on whose fault it is. Only look at yourself. Ask yourself, how is this showing you how you can adapt your behavior and the way that you see the situation? Then embrace that adaptation and move forward. Keeping that consciousness and that process is really going to help you when it comes to each of these shifts. Now, first, we have on March 22nd, Mars entering Pisces, which will be in your 7th house. So this is great news, because this is going to bring up any conflict in your romantic relationships if you're in a relationship, and if you're single, it will bring up any issues you may have around relationships, which is perfect, because this will be the first area of your life where you can say to yourself, what is it in this area of my life that I'm ready to change? And this is coming right out of Pisces season. So I'm sure that if there are any relationship issues, they have been brought to light. Now is the time to make those changes. Then on March 25th, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, which I did a separate video for, so be sure to check that out, because it does contain info on how it relates to your destiny. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your 8th house, which may bring about a situation where jealousy or controlling behavior comes into play in one of your relationships, Virgo. And this is a relationship of any kind, not just romantic. So if this does come up, use the same formula that you are using for the 8th house energy, which is identifying how the circumstances are teaching you something about yourself that, when understood and processed, you can come out on the other side of this experience a stronger, more capable version of yourself. This 8th house energy also increases the likelihood of a financial issue regarding joint finances, but don't let that scare you, Virgo, or get you nervous. If it does come up, great, because this means that you'll be tending to it, getting it out of the way, and it's better to get it out of the way now at the start of the astrological year as opposed to having to deal with it later. Now, when it comes to love and money, Venus will be shifting into Aries on April 5th, which will also be in your 8th house, which indicates that if you are in a romantic relationship, this will be a time where it will become very evident whether or not this relationship will be the best choice for you moving forward. This Venus transit also indicates that if the two of you have any sort of joint finances, a discussion will be necessary to get on the same page in this area. And if you are single and looking for love, this is a fantastic energy for you because it indicates that if you do meet someone, which isn't highly indicated during this time, but it also isn't highly unlikely. So it is possible. But if you do, you will for sure be able to recognize if there is depth to the connection or if it is more a just for fun type situation. Also keep in mind that Mercury will be retrograde, so even if there does seem to be a depth to the connection, you might want to take your time before finalizing any sort of long-term commitment, Virgo. And overall, when it comes to money, this indicates more of a steady flow as opposed to a major influx or diminishing of your financial profile. So not really great news here, but not bad news either. It's more about getting any joint finances in alignment. Then we have the final big transit of Aries season, which will be the new moon solar eclipse in Aries that takes place on April 8th, which will also be in your 8th house, which, due to the intensity of the 8 numerology energy, April 8th, the 8th house, and the fact that 2024 overall is an 8 vibration, this does mark a huge opening for manifesting, Virgo. So anytime from April 8th through April 23rd, you can expect to see some major headway regarding bringing the vision that you have for yourself into reality. And this is even with Mercury being retrograde. Just make sure you have done your part by making the major and necessary changes that we talked about in the beginning of this reading for you. So a very exciting, very intense, and transformative time for you, Virgo. So embrace this energetic opening. It's gonna go great. You are ready for the challenge, and happy Aries season, Virgo. Okay, my powerful Libras, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this will be in your 7th house. So Libras, you are the ruler of the 7th house, so you will feel right at home in this energy. But Aries season is your polar opposite energy, so please be mindful that you will not feel like your usual self, and because of that, this is not a time to act impulsively. Take your time during this 4-week period, stay in the moment, and do not allow any unforeseen circumstances to stress you out to the point of acting outside of your usual disposition. Now, that being said, there are some major energetic changes that happen during Aries season, so let's go over the best way for you to navigate those shifts. But also know that the overall theme for you and the way to apply most of this info will be in how it relates to the relationships in your life. And this will be relationships of all kinds: romantic, friendship, business relationships, family relationships, and even the relationship with yourself. Now, on March 22nd, we have Mars shifting into Pisces, which will be in your 6th house, which is an excellent energy for you, Libra, because although you can be an absolutely hard worker and a responsible individual, you do have to actually work at motivating yourself sometimes to do so. But this Mars in your 6th house energy will bring that motivation on for you, so you won't have to work as hard to get yourself inspired to get things done, or to go after any professional goals, or to have the confidence behind it to do so, which is great. So in a season where you might not quite feel like yourself, at least you won't be tired on top of it all. Your physical energy and ambition will actually be pretty high, which is fantastic. Then we have the full moon lunar eclipse on March 25th in your sign, which I made a separate video for, so be sure to check that out, so that way you know the best way to make the most of that energy. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your 7th house, Libra. So this could indicate some former relationship coming back around. So be cautious and make sure that if this is the case, that they are coming back around with different energy and a different perspective, because this could very well be a test to see if you have learned the lesson the first time around that relationship was trying to teach you. This 7th house energy also indicates a communication issue coming up in a relationship, so make sure to not jump to any conclusions, and if something does rub you the wrong way, just ask questions for clarity. See what exactly someone meant or what they were attempting to convey before you decide how you're going to handle the situation. And conversely, if you feel like you are the one being misunderstood, don't shut down or avoid the situation or walk away from the person. Instead, take the time to explain yourself so that way you can clear up any uncertainty and avoid any unnecessary drama. And when it comes to love and money, on April 5th, Venus will be shifting into Aries, which is also in your 7th house, which is actually a very positive influence for financial gain, Libra, which is fantastic. And if you are single and looking for love, this indicates that you may very well connect with a new love interest during this Venus transit. Just be mindful that Mercury will still be retrograde, so communication will be key. Also, making sure to take your time to really get to know this person before making any long-term commitments could be beneficial given the fact that Mercury will be retrograde, and given the fact also that we are in the 4 weeks of your polar opposite energy. And if you are in a relationship, this will absolutely be a fantastic time for the two of you to address any relationship concerns. So this way you will find yourself at the end of this Aries season and Venus transit more connected and working as a team as you continue riding the wave of momentum of 2024. Then we have the final big transit of Aries season, which will be the new moon solar eclipse in Aries that takes place on April 8th, which will also be in your 7th house. So this may very well mark the time period between the 8th and the 23rd of April where you do meet that someone new, but also where you will begin to really feel the shift and expansion and the results of the realizations and the changes that you made during the full moon lunar eclipse. So Libra, this will be an exciting time for you to determine who you want in your life in terms of who you want around you, supporting you, and being a part of the remainder of 2024 when it comes to all forms of relationships in your life. This way you can be certain that the team of people around you, the surrounding energies, are uplifting and that they are a positive influence on you as opposed to a source of stress. So embrace this energetic opening and happy Aries season, Libra. Okay, my powerful Scorpios, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this is going to be in your 6th house. So Scorpio, this will be a time where the things that you do on a day-to-day basis will come into focus, and so will your health. In order for 2024 to be all that it can be for you in terms of manifesting the life that you envision for yourself, it will be important to get yourself on a daily schedule where you know exactly where you're putting your energy in order to make sure that the actions that you are taking each day are supporting your overall goals. Also, Scorpio, if any unexpected health problems come up during this time, just know it is in order to address the issue, obviously, but resolve the issue and then be able to move forward as the momentum of 2024 picks up. Now, there are going to be some intense planetary shifts throughout Aries season, so let's talk about what those are going to be so that way you know the best way to move forward most effectively. First, on March 22nd, we have Mars shifting into Pisces, which will be in your 5th house. So this does indicate a surge of creativity, which can be very helpful with work if you use your creative brain during what it is that you do for a living. And it also lends to you feeling more motivated to have fun and enjoy the process of whatever you're doing, which is also a very positive influence. This also indicates that there could be some potential romantic energy stirring, but this isn't heavily supported by the rest of the planetary lineup, but at least you know that there will be some positive energy in that world of romance and love, and we will get more into that when we discuss Venus during this Aries season. But next up, we have on March 25th, the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, which I made a separate video for, so make sure to check that out. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your 6th house. So Scorpio, this relates to health, like we were talking about at the start of this reading. If you have had some illness recently and thought that you were completely past it, just know it may rear its ugly head once more during this Mercury retrograde phase. But just know that if it does, this is an opportunity to address the issue and heal once and for all. This could also be to remind you that health needs to be your #1 priority, especially during Aries season. The 6th house energy could also indicate some miscommunications at work, but just know they can be cleared up if you are patient and you take your time to explain yourself or ask any necessary questions to get to the bottom of the miscommunication. So this may be a bit of an annoying Mercury retrograde for you, Scorpio, but it may be exactly what you need to help with that push that the sun is also giving you to get a bit more committed to taking care of your health. Remember, this is regarding mentally, physically, and spiritually. Now, when it comes to love and money during this Aries season on April 5th, Venus will be shifting into Aries, which will also be in your 6th house. So for those of you that are single and you're looking for love or you want to manifest love, although Mars may be bringing a bit more of that romantic energy into your world, this Venus transit is not a major indicator of that romantic connection, which might be a good thing because Mercury will be retrograde. The good news for all of you though, whether you're single or in a relationship, the 6th house energy is a great indication that there could be an increase to your financial situation. Not to mention, this also could bring about a creative opportunity at work that could prove to be lucrative in the future. So this Venus transit is much more about financial gain and less about love for you, Scorpio. Then we have the final big transit of Aries season, which will be when the new moon solar eclipse in Aries takes place on April 8th, which will also be in your 6th house. This could mark the time that some of those opportunities begin to manifest, and this is also the time where you will start to see the positive effects of the changes and realizations you made during the full moon lunar eclipse energy that started on March 25th. Also, if you are having any health problems, this energy could indicate a positive shift toward healing if you do your part by taking action in the right direction in terms of doing the things that you know are good for you health-wise, Scorpio. So overall, Scorpio, this Aries season is really all about you taking the time to organize a schedule for yourself where you make sure to implement health practices, make sure that on a day-to-day basis you are taking actions and engaging in activities that you know are putting you into a good flow, because as you know, Aries season is a seed planting phase, and the changes you make will set the tone and have a major effect on how the remainder of 2024 plays out for you. So embrace this energetic opening and happy Aries season, Scorpios. Okay, my powerful Sagittarians, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this is going to be in your 5th house. So get ready, Sagittarius. This is where opportunity really begins to open up and you start to feel the expansion and momentum of 2024 truly getting underway. Although this Aries season has a lot of intense energy going on, the overall theme for you is very positive and indicates good fortune, fun, creative expression, and even some romantic energy. So let's talk about the planetary transits that will be taking place so that way you know what to expect and how to make the most of the next 4 weeks. So first off, we have Mars entering Pisces on March 22nd, which will be in your 4th house, which will actually bring your socializing energy down a bit, meaning you may feel much more like spending more time at home to yourself than you usually do, but this is not a negative influence at all. It will just be important to make sure that with everything that you will have going on during Aries season, that you absolutely allow downtime for yourself to reboot and recharge at home. Next, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra that will take place on March 25th, which I did a separate video for, so be sure to check that out. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your 5th house. So this could mean a past romantic interest coming back around, Sagittarius. Just make sure you are clear on if you want the dynamic between the two of you to be just for fun, or if you want it to be something more with a bit more depth to it. And if you want it to be something more, just make sure to communicate that clearly and effectively, because things can get misunderstood during this Mercury retrograde phase. And on a lighter note, the 5th house retrograde energy also indicates that an opportunity to engage in an old hobby or something that you really used to love to do, you may start doing that again, which actually can open the door not only to some new enjoyment, but also to some new connections. So not a negative retrograde at all for you, Sagittarius. Just remember clear and specific communication in relationships. That way you don't end up having to come back around and explain yourself to someone later. Now, when it comes to love and money, Venus will be shifting into Aries on April 5th, which will also be in your 5th house, which strongly indicates new love for those of you that are single and looking for love. Just keep in mind that Mercury will be retrograde, and this doesn't at all mean to avoid love if it shows up. It just means to take your time on finalizing any commitments, which as a Sagittarius, I know more than likely you are not going to have a problem doing, but just know that this is an excellent energy for love. Now, if you are already in a relationship, this indicates that the two of you will be in a strong phase of connection. And if you've been wanting a child, this also is a positive influence for conceiving. If you have been having problems in your relationship, this will be a great time to address those issues with a high likelihood of a positive outcome. And overall, whether you are single or in a relationship, financially, this 5th house Venus transit is excellent for you and your connection to financial abundance. Just again, remember, Mercury will be retrograde, so if you are going to take some risks, make sure that they are calculated and meticulously calculated risks. So overall, Sagittarius, even with all of this eclipse energy and with Mercury going retrograde, this Aries season is set to be an exciting time for you. Just embrace any unforeseen circumstances and know that whatever shows up for you will somehow be in your soul's best interest. So as long as you adapt to circumstances and keep an optimistic outlook, this should be a great 4-week period. So embrace this energetic opening and happy Aries season, Sagittarius. Okay, my powerful Capricorns, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this is going to be in your 4th house. So Capricorns, consider yourselves pretty lucky because the 4 weeks of Aries season are going to bring some very intense energetic shifts. And the good news is that it is pretty much a resting and recharge phase for you. Meaning, yes, this is the beginning of the astrological year. And yes, this is go time in terms of the momentum of 2024 truly getting underway. But when the sun is in the 4th house, the theme for you is attending to your inner home, your spiritual and emotional well-being, and your outer home in terms of making sure that you have your living space set up in a way that is a source of positive support and energy where you can recharge, recalibrate, and allow yourself the necessary downtime to re-emerge at the end of this Aries season your best self. Now, don't be surprised if some issue comes up with a family member during this time, and if it does, just know that this is an opportunity for you to process and resolve the situation so that way you do not head into the remainder of 2024 carrying around any heaviness regarding that relationship. So let's go over these transits so you know what to expect and the best way to make the most of this energy. First up, we have Mars shifting into Pisces on March 22nd, which will be in your 3rd house, which will increase your capacity to communicate, and it will also elevate your motivation, which is great. But it will also lend to you maybe focusing on more than you should. So it's great that you will feel motivated, but be sure to remember that Aries season is a nesting phase and a preparation phase. So yes, if opportunities arise, do not hold back, but also make sure you are not putting more on your plate than necessary. Also, this 3rd house Mars energy will assist you in communicating effectively if any issue does arise with a family member. Then on March 25th, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, which I made a separate video for, so be sure to check that out. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your 4th house. So Capricorn, something from your past regarding family may come back around to haunt you, so be ready to deal with that. Also, just know that a miscommunication with a family member can take place, so if something is said that doesn't sit right with you, instead of cutting that person out of your life or just deciding to give them no more of your energy or time, make sure to communicate for clarification first. After you get clarification, they still get sentenced to the land of no more attention. Well, at least you know you did everything that you could to make sure that there were no misunderstandings. And also be on the lookout for some random home repairs to come up that you might have to tend to. And try not to get annoyed if they do come up, just know that they are coming up now, so that way you do not have to tend to them later. Now, when it comes to love and money, during Aries season, Venus will be shifting into Aries on April 5th, which will also be in your 4th house. So this could indicate that if you are already in a relationship, the two of you may decide to move in together during this time. Just keep in mind that Mercury will be retrograde during this time, so do not step into that phase lightly. Make sure it is something that the two of you have been discussing for a while. Also, this Venus energy does indicate positive energy financially, especially if you have any investments in the world of real estate. If not, this will be a positive time for saving and consistency financially. Now, if you are single and looking for love, this is not a major indication of new love, which is okay, because Taurus season is right around the corner, and that is where things really begin to heat up for you, Capricorn. And it is probably best that love is not a top priority during this Venus transit, given that Mercury will be retrograde. Then we have the final big transit of Aries season, which will be when the new moon solar eclipse comes along in Aries on April 8th, which will also be in your 4th house, which will mark the point of a major opening in terms of healing and release when it comes to your spiritual energy. all of the realizations and work that you did during the eclipse in Libra on March 25th will now begin to yield positive results, especially in the way that you feel, Capricorn, which is the perfect setup for you to prepare for the forward momentum of 2024, especially when Taurus season comes around. So embrace this energetic opening, and happy Aries season, Capricorn. Okay, my powerful Aquarians, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this will be in your third house. So Aquarius, your theme for the next 4 weeks is going to be organization and communication. There's going to be a lot of energy going on during this time with these eclipses happening, not to mention there is going to be a Mercury retrograde situation happening. And the best way for you to be prepared is by making sure that you are clear on your intentions in terms of your schedule, in terms of your priorities, and also by making sure that you are ready to make a shift in terms of how you communicate. By that I mean it is likely that a situation will arise during this Aries season where you will experience a conflict if there is something that has been left unsaid between you and someone else, or if there is something that is left unclear. So make sure that if there is something you know someone else should know, tell them. Or conversely, if there's something that you want to know and you're waiting to see if a specific person will share that information with you, instead of waiting to see what happens and to see what they do, just be proactive and directly ask them. This will help you to make decisions moving forward that are based on the facts of the situation as opposed to having to speculate. And now let's talk about these transits so you can be ready to make the most of this astrological new year. First, we have Mars shifting into Pisces on March 22nd, which will be in your second house, which is an excellent energy when it comes to making money, Aquarius. So that is a major boost in momentum, in motivation, and in your ability to make money. So if you prioritize that as a focus during this time, you will surely see results. On March 25th, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, which I made a separate video for, so be sure to check that out. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your third house. So Aquarius, if there was any sort of writing project that you started and you didn't get to finish, this retrograde phase will be an excellent time to dive in and get it done. This could lead to a very positive outcome. If you have some sort of issue with a sibling or a neighbor that is unresolved, be ready for that to come back around or for it to just get exacerbated. And remember that communication is key, so make sure to be as clear as possible when communicating to resolve the issue. Stay away from who's to blame and rehashing anything from the past. Just focus on what solutions can be implemented in the present to keep these things from ever happening again. And this third house retrograde energy can also indicate some car trouble. So be prepared for that. Even plan ahead by getting your car serviced beforehand, and hopefully you will avoid any car drama altogether. And now when it comes to love and money, during this Aries season, Venus will be shifting into Aries on April 5th, which will also be in your third house. So actually, Aquarius, this indicates that it is likely for you to encounter some prospects for dating if you are single and interested in finding love. And actually, because this is a third house transit, there may be not just one, but two romantic interests. So just keep in mind that Mercury will be retrograde during this time. And also keep in mind that this Aries season is all about prioritizing. So you want to make sure that you are clear on what is most important to you. So I'm not saying to not give energy to the excitement of love. Absolutely not. I am all about love and I am all about relationships. I'm just saying make sure that you are balancing your priorities effectively. Now, if you are already in a relationship, this could indicate that you and your significant other may have some communication issues to clear up. And if that is the case, just take this as a perfect opportunity to resolve any unresolved issues, so that way the relationship is a source of support and fulfillment moving forward, as opposed to a source of stress. And the final big shift of Aries season will be when the new moon solar eclipse takes place on April 8th in Aries, which will also be in your third house, which may bring up the opportunity to resolve an issue with a sibling or a neighbor. And overall, it will bring an acceleration to your manifesting power relative to any of the changes that you made and any of the actions that you took during the lunar eclipse energy that started on the 25th. So overall, Aquarius, this is an exciting, busy, but crucial time period for you to minimize any chaos in your life, Get your priorities in alignment so that way you are stepping into the next chapter of 2024 with no drama and a strong momentum for manifesting your dreams into reality. So embrace this energetic opening and happy Aries season, Aquarius. Okay, my powerful Pisces, when the sun shifts into Aries for you, this is going to be in your second house. So Pisces, it is that time of year for money to become your focus and for it to become your new best friend. There's a lot going on in terms of big planetary shifts during this Aries season, so there will be a lot of emotional waves, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but this is the 4-week period where the energetic shift is in your favor when it comes to improving your connection to manifesting abundance and wealth. So the more you can make that your focus, the more successful you will be in this area of your life moving forward throughout the rest of 2024. Now, as a Pisces, I know that money is not your main focus, but know that money equals freedom, and you do love freedom. So all I'm saying is that while the energy is absolutely in your favor, make sure to take advantage of that opportunity to improve this area of your life. Now let's talk about those planetary shifts so that way you know the best way to make the most of this upcoming energy. On March 22nd, Mars will be shifting into Pisces, which will be in your first house, which is the perfect setup because this will increase your motivation and it will give you the opportunity to renew your perspective, and it will bring a surge of confidence to you, which will yield very positive results if you put that energy in the right direction. On March 25th, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, which I've already done a separate video for, so make sure to check that out because it's an important one. It's the only penumbral lunar eclipse this year, which relates to your destiny. Now, this is where things start to get a bit tricky. Then from April 1st through April 25th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries, which will be in your second house, Pisces. And this may mean that some money that you are expecting could be delayed, or this second house Mercury retrograde energy could also mean that some unexpected money or some unforeseen good fortune could also be coming your way. So let's hope that between those two versions, money being delayed or unexpected money coming your way, that it's choice number 2. This will also be a good time to make sure and pay some attention to receipts and contracts when you make any purchases, because some mistakes or confusion could be made regarding financial exchanges. This retrograde phase is also a good time to really reevaluate what matters to you, Pisces, so you can prioritize accordingly and leave anything else behind, which works well with this second house sun energy. Now, when it comes to love and money, Venus will be shifting into Aries on April 5th, which is not a major indication of new love coming your way, but it is an indication of financial opportunities coming your way, which is fantastic. Just be mindful of that Mercury retrograde energy so that way you don't jump into any intensely risky opportunities without doing your due diligence and meticulously doing so. Now, if you are already in a relationship, this indicates that if the financial balance is off in the relationship, this will be magnified during this time in order to give you the opportunity to address the issue, and just make sure you do. Otherwise, the issue will increase and increase until it could cause major conflict or an end to the relationship. But overall, just know that this Venus transit is excellent for clarity on your self-worth and the best way to begin manifesting more abundance, Pisces. Then we have the final big shift of Aries season, which will be the new moon solar eclipse in Aries on April 8th that takes place in your second house, which will mark the opening and an acceleration regarding your manifesting power and the rewards for the actions that you take during the lunar eclipse at the beginning of Aries season on March 25th. So although Mercury will be retrograde, you can expect some exciting opportunities to be coming your way, Pisces, especially after April 8th. Just know that when it comes to manifesting, so much of that energy is connected to what you do at the seed planting phase. And Aries season is the time for planting those seeds of intention. So following this Aries season, it will be all about patience and consistency and maintaining an optimistic outlook that you will see your goals materialize. Just make sure that during this Aries season, you have let go of the things from the past, renewed your excitement about the present, and decided what means the most to you, and focus on that energy, especially giving some extra energy to financial abundance. So embrace this energetic opening and happy Aries season, Pisces. Okay, so there you have it. What to expect for love and your life overall during this Aries season from March 20th through April 19th. So let's stay focused on making the choices that lead to the actions that support your truth and will assist you in manifesting the things that you desire and definitely deserve. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget the baby tap. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Thanks so much for taking the time to come and hang out with me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.